Good morning, everybody. Good morning from an absolutely beautiful day here in the Philippines. So far today, the air has been nice and breezy. It's been a beautiful morning, and I've been spending my morning hanging out with Chris. So last night, Mel and I were chilling here in the house. It was already nighttime, and we heard this rumbling sound. And Melinda said, "You hear that rumbling sound?" I said, "Is that thunder or what is that?" Because you know, you can really hear this bassy tone. And then we heard neat neat and go outside, and it is the pipes on his bike echoing here underneath the front of the house, and it was making this rumbling sound. Chris has been a follower of our vlog since back in the very beginning, so that's pretty cool. And he wanted to come here and see us, and he was hoping we would rent him a room, and we did. So he was a guest here in one of our rooms last night. So this is Chris from Norway right here. And Chris, you've been watching our channel for a long time.
Yeah, quite a while.
But you also have bought property here in the Philippines and done building here in the Philippines and all as well. That's what attracted you to our channel to start with, was you was looking up other people building stuff and all. And him and I, we've been just talking and talking. He showed up last night, and it was so enjoyable. I tell you what, it was absolutely great. He said he was a little nervous to pull up unannounced.
Yeah, you know, you feel kind of embarrassed too.
But I said, oh, heck no, man. It was great, and it's still great. You got a bike right here, a Ninja, Kawasaki Ninja 1000. Funny, because just yesterday I told you I was hanging out with a Filipino guy with a Kawasaki Ninja 1000 too. And you bought this bike just touring around the Philippines here? Is it your regular transportation?
It's both.
I bet you get a lot of attention on this bike out there, don't you?
You know, people shouting and, oh. And then they do like this, they want a bomba.
With a Filipina, but he met her actually in Norway, right? Yeah. And that's how it began for him. So you started your Philippine journey, actually started in Norway and then to the Philippines? Yeah, meeting her first.
Then you get addicted to Philippines, you know, it's just a place you want to stay.
It is like a drug, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, even if we complain about it.
It's like that's where you get your freedom.
So I really been enjoying my time kicking with him, man. It's like when he's talking about leaving her, I'm like, oh, don't. Stay longer. He said he's gonna be back.
When are you coming back?
So I told him that I'm gonna use this opportunity, him here with his bike, to go ahead and spill the beans of what I did also, that he didn't know about till I rolled up the garage door. But I also have a bike. I just bought this brand new recently. Well, there's been something in the works that I haven't shared to you all here lately. Yeah, something been in the works for a little while, and that is that I'm buying me an adventure bike. And for you that don't know me, which is most of you out there, I've grown up my entire life as a child, and then in my adult life and all, hardcore riding motorcycles. Pretty wild and rowdy and all. Me and my friends were all on our dirt bikes and stuff, and on up into my adult life, I continued heavy into the dirt bike thing. I guess on up to about my mid-30s. And then at the same time, I always had street bikes at the same time as well, and I've had a plethora of bikes of different styles and sizes and brands. You know, of course, even there towards the end, I dabbled with some Harley stuff, but I was in all kinds of different bikes that I've had, man. Some pretty powerful bikes as well. And the past few years is the first time in my life that I've went with a gap with no motorcycle of my own. I've rode other people's bikes, but didn't have one of my own. One of the reasons being is because my nerve damage in my body and in my right hand, and it was very hard for me for a long while. But I've seen that my body over the past few years has just recovered more and more and more. The therapy that I've done, even with myself and all, has really improved things so that I don't feel intimidated now or a danger or anything to get a bike, if it's the right bike, that I'm positioned right on it, that I'm not putting too much pressure on my hand and all, that I can ride. So I'm not going to be going like with no crotch rocket style or anything like that. And I'm just not really into the scooters. Nothing wrong with you guys that have them. That's all okay. Nothing against that. It's just not my style. And so what I wanted was what I've always felt the most comfortable on my whole life. And that's something that's positioned a little bit more like a dirt bike. I've had some wonderful street bikes that I love, but I love the high sitting up high in the middle, not all down low, dirt bike feel, man. And I would just get a straight up enduro, like a WR 450 Yamaha, if it was going to be me riding single. Without a doubt, I would get that, because that's a bike that I'm very familiar with, because I rode like the YZ 400 426Fs, which is some really powerful dirt bikes, and the WR 450 is built off that. They had the WR 400, then they had the WR 426, and then the 450, all in the F series, the 4-stroke series. But Melinda's going to be on the bike, and a rider on the bike over long distances on those with such a small pad and the way it's set up and all is not going to be comfortable for her. So there needs to be a compromise. So we're going with a dual sport, and what I'm going to go with is the KTM 390 Adventure. They make a 790 and now an 890, and they make on up to a 1200 and something, but that's too much power for here. These roads, a lot of times you're not going to see over 30-40 kilometers an hour, you know. Just no reason to have that much power here in this country, especially down here in these province areas. There's no big expressways or nothing either, and you don't need to get going too fast here, man, because it is faster you're going, the less reaction time you're going to have. So nonetheless, I'm very happy with my choice. I'm very confident with my choice. This is something I've spent a lot of time doing research on. Another thing's the weight. Not only the price tag, say something like this Suzuki right here. Gorgeous bike, gorgeous bike. It's 1050cc, very beautiful. This is kind of like a dual sport bike as well. A little bit, you know, like a touring bike. But the price tag and the weight, I don't want a bike so heavy to pick up if it got laid down. They're gorgeous, but that's a down for me. And just the price, I don't want to be that heavily invested into a bike. There's a lot of choices in here. It's a very short, low bike. This bike right here, this Benelli, it's a cool looking bike. I sit on it. The position's not too bad. You kind of sit down a little low in it. That in a way, because I don't want to be real lean forward, but the bars are out just enough that you're still going to put a lot of pressure hard in your palms all the time. I don't want that. This is another Benelli. This bike here is actually a pretty comfortable bike, but I don't want that brand. I want something that's easy to get accessories for, that there's a mass amount of accessories made for, and it's just not really the style I want. There's a lot of beautiful bikes here, a lot. I could go on and on. I really don't want to get too much in the crotch rocket styles. I love motocross styles though. I really didn't want these styles. This is more in the styling that I like. I definitely love the motocross bikes. Now this is a smaller one here. This is a 155, but my buddy Cap's bike is a 155 Yamaha engine, probably the same engine, and man, it gets him around great. But you see, it's such a small pad and the position and back for a rear rider, and then the comfort level and the power of two people on there and all two. I don't know, it's just not what I wanted. It's a mountain trail, and then this is the WR series right here. But the bigger version of this, the 450F, which is a whole lot bigger, beefier bike than this, I would have loved to just had that if it was only me riding solo. KTM makes these Dukes right here, the Duke 390, which is the same engine as the bike that I am working on purchasing here, but it's a different styling. And the bike that I'm going to look at buying right here is this one right here. And I've been up here and seen this bike again and again, and I've been on groups and forums and even trying to make deals to buy secondhand from a couple different people, but man, you know, they didn't do their paperwork right, or it's been passed around several times but never transferred the title or the ORCR, and I don't want to get into all these complications and for not that great of a savings. So I just wanted to go with a brand new bike. So they're doing here what they call activating the bike. So they're putting the fuel in it first time, the battery. We located the toolkit, got it in there. They're putting the mirrors on, the handguards on, and I'm hoping that he can flash the firmware on this, because there's an update by KTM on the settings in there when you would set like the traction control and all on or off. If the bike was to die, like you chugged it dead or you turn the key off, when you turn it back on, it would default back to the factory settings every time. So the firmware update is supposed to be that whatever settings you last had it on, even if you kill the bike, it holds those settings. So I'm really hoping they can put that firmware update in here, and they're just getting it all ready. You see he's got all the computer here with the software to interface here with KTM. Looks like he's working on some of that right now. Just getting it all prepped and ready. You need to adjust these two. You see this one, it's up straight, and this one it's leaned forward, so these are going to have to be adjusted. See, this one's turned forward and that one's up straight. Yeah, it's that one, I think. Maybe I think that one's the one that needs to be adjusted. Yeah.
Gas. Tuloy mo.
This engine here has got a 12.9 to 1 compression ratio, or it's also called a 12.88 to 1 compression ratio on it. Pretty hard hitting little motor in there, really. And the power curve on it is all in the top. Some people will say, you know, just tooling around out here on the streets and all that feels a little sluggish on the bottom, and that then it gets to a certain band in the engine and then it just opens up. Like we used to always call back in the day, we'd always say it has a power band, Well, its power curve is in the top end on this motor. Cool. Nice. In fact, Cap and I, woo, man, did I have a good time just now riding this baby home, boy. Oh my God, it was a good time. Cap said he didn't know when I blew by him, man. He said, I kept looking for your transformer headlight, and I said, you're looking for the wrong thing, buddy. You need to be looking for a tail light fading away. Don't look for a headlight. Yeah, man. One sweet little ride home. Man, it just felt like just normal to me, man, because I've just spent so many years riding, and this bike fits the profile and the style that I like to set perfect. I knew it would, and I am happy with it. We'll do a whole little review video of this bike sometime, but I am happy for it, boy. Yes, I am. Mr. Cap helped me today hang out and bring my truck back, and he's tired and he's ready to go home. Wow. Well, I tell you what, this thing, don't discount it. Don't just say, oh, it's only a 390 or anything like that. That is a kicking butt little 390 right there, especially for here in the Philippines, where you're not going to be driving 100 miles an hour here.
Oh, not here, man.
Yeah.
50 feels fast.
Man, that is so cool. I thank you very much, Cappers.
Not a problem, man. I'm excited for you. Now
I know.
Riding, buddy.
When I told you I wasn't going to get one, I noticed you kind of like, wah, wah, wah. So he's going to make sure I stuck it on through today. Thanks again, Cap. We went on some pretty good ride yesterday. My KTM 390 Adventure, and it's a pretty feature-rich bike too. It's not going to be as powerful naturally as this 1000, but it is a more of an off-road bike, where this is pretty much just straight touring street bike right here. This is a combination dual sport bike for going both on and off-road. My thinking against getting a street bike was that Mel and I, we like going off the beaten paths. We, even with our trucks and that green 4x4 I have had for years, we like going where all concrete and rock ends. We like going to where it's dirt and mud, and then we don't care if it's pouring down rain. And we've taken the white truck right here, which is 4x4, into some pretty crazy places, but we tend to want to be a little bit more safe with it because, you know, it's a brand new truck and all that. Where the green truck, we were pretty abusive with it, you know. And
it can take some scratches.
Yeah, it can take some scratches. We talked about that, like you got scratches on this bike, and once you did that, you're like, all the heck with it.
Yeah, it's a bike, you know.
It's a bike, and that's why I wanted something like this from day one, that it's an adventure bike, it's not a showpiece, and I can get out and use and abuse it.
You have to learn to drive from scratch again, because the traffic is so much different.
It is. Let me tell you what, I had in Oton up here today, I had an old woman. Now, I don't see a whole lot of old people driving here like I do back in the U.S. and all. But there was this old lady, and she was driving an old car, which you don't see a whole lot of either. And I mean, it looks like she's taking well care of it. But this car, you could see, was like an 80s model, right? And very clean, though. And this little woman, in her eyes, she's leaning forward on the steering wheel. She's squinting her eyes, and she's right at the market where there's all this traffic. And I see her in my mirror coming up, but she put her car mirror within 1.5 inches of my handlebar. She never even knew I was there.
Really?
She never even knew, because she's so leaning forward, squinting, trying to see where she's driving. I didn't get mad at her, bless her heart. And the thing is, you need to be aware. You've got to be a defensive driver. And so main thing is you be aware. And so I was aware, and I just kind of leaned away from her, you know. But I could have very easily got angry, and there's no sense in it.
No. This is Philippines, so
absolutely. I've rode bikes in the Philippines a lot. This is not new for me, you know.
There's a little boy inside of us.
Yeah, there is. Well, I just thought it was so cool. He rolled up on a bike, and it's right around the same time frame that I hadn't even divulged this bike yet. But I've got all my papers right here, and my restoration was good for 3 years on the bike.
It took me 3 years to get a plate number. 3 years.
Yeah, and that's another thing I was happy with my dealer, is they issued a temporary plate right then and there. Like my friend David bought that Honda ADV 160 scooter, and they issued him nothing. He has nothing, and he's trying to even find a place to go get a temporary plate even made right now. But they put it on here, and I have my documentation, and I'm good to go.
But in general, the police here, it's just nice guys.
Nice guys, man.
Actually, on my way south to Mindanao, I stopped in a gas station, and there were 2 police cars, and I was thinking, they have a break. So just in fun, I said, "Oh, am I in trouble now?" You know, and conversation started, and one of the officers said that, "Hey, when you go south, just give it everything you can take. There are no speed limits." So it was and I did.
It has the 4 little screws and all that look just like the 4 right there on yours.
Oh.
And it's set up, and it already has a power port right here.
I connected mine with
Right, so there's a lead already back here, a 12-volt lead,
already prepared.
prepared on this bike.
Plug it in.
Yes, and they made it in the back here too. There's already a lead back here also. My bag right here, I've got a port, and I bet you yours, yeah, it does too. It's got a port right here for bringing a charger through, so I can have me like a USB adapter or anything right there, and a charger coming through in the bag, and you can just unplug real quick, stuff it in there, and cover it. And it looks like you've got the same
I have to plug
thing also.
I have to plug here.
Your plug's right down there, and then he's got the port in the front of his bag too to bring in the cord right there, and you can slide it in and out. Man, that is a handy accessory. But I like your Garmin unit, Ryan. And the,
Easy to use.
have you found it to be pretty accurate for the Philippines?
Within half a meter.
Pretty cool then, huh?
And it works so much better than your mobile.
And I was talking to my friend David because he bought a what do they call that, like a CarPlay unit, and it's got a front and rear camera that goes into it, and it records. You can set it in the second you turn your key on, it starts recording, and it has a navigation in it. I just don't know how good a quality.
I could have used it in that accident I had in Botswana.
Yeah, you sure could
Would
have.
have been good to have.
But he can't see his screen in the glare. And I told him, because these good units like Garmin, and I'm not beating his unit up, but you know, for the price range you got, that's what you're going to get. But that they make the screens much brighter.
This is Garmin Sumo, and Sumo is made for motorbikes.
Yeah, it's made for the motorbike. So it's like my drone. My drone, if you use a cell phone to view flying your drone, and you're out in the bright sunlight, you may not hardly be able to see the screen for the navigation and the features. But if you buy like DJI's unit display from them, it's made to where it has an anti-glare and it has a really bright screen. The brightness is way more intense to combat against sunlight.
It's made for it.
So you got to make sure you buy something that's for it. And Garmin does good on that as well. It does pretty good for you. You seeing it?
I see it all in sun, in darkness, you know. But previous trips I've been using Google Maps. And the internet in Philippines is working very slow, and you're driving areas where you have no connections, and you're way out of course, and you know, this just works.
So this Garmin here, is it satellite connected? And you pay a monthly subscription for that?
Nope.
Just one time, you don't have to pay a regular fee?
When I buy it, it works, and it's for lifetime.
And that's that.
I have bought the Asian maps. It costs a little to
update that?
To update to Asian maps, but...
Well, that's good to know too. So it's kind of like even on the boats, on like the Garmin units on the boats, you'll buy your navigation and chart plotting and all maps for that region of the world as well, and add them in there, upload it in it. Yeah, that is pretty cool.
The panniers. It's also Kawasaki.
Those cases look sweet on here, actually, man.
It's made for that bike.
Absolutely, and they look sweet on here.
One key system. I cannot take the boxes off without unlock it.
Yeah.
And then it's good.
And then that's your suitcases.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I like that. It does squeeze the tail lights in though, doesn't it?
It's not original.
Oh.
The tail here, it break off.
So you got it tucked in up underneath there.
Yeah.
So.
But actually, it ended up with me being a white guy, I had to pay them 2,000 pesos because they crashed my bike.
Yeah, they hit you,
Yeah.
and you got to pay them
Yeah.
to make it not complicated
it
and
works
drug
in
out over
Philippines.
days. And
I was warned by the police, and they said, yeah, but we will call the specialist, and you have to sit in the police station, and it will be maybe also tomorrow. And I could say, my trip will be ruined. So I got
exactly,
2,000 pesos and goodbye.
exactly. So I see you put that that kickstand little foot extender down there on the bottom.
Because it's heavy, and often where you park, it's gravel and stuff like that.
Or soft,
It's
and presses in.
sinking,
I seen that because I was looking at buying one for this bike over here as well.
Sure,
I
but
definitely need
You
it.
have to know that it will be a little more upraised
Yeah,
because
the thickness on it will bring it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So don't get one that's too thick, because this already stands up pretty straight as it is.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. So either you could, I don't know, do something, bend it a little out so you'll have a little more lean. You're going to have so much fun. In traffic, it's so much faster on a motorbike.
Our room, was it pretty comfortable for you last night?
It was, you know, you have been thinking of everything. Nice, comfortable bed. You know, I've been sleeping like a rock here.
We wanted to buy good sheets. We wanted to buy good pillows. I mean, I really want your honest opinion so we know how.
It is honest opinion.
We really want people
I'm
to come
coming
here
back.
and rest well.
I'm coming back for sure.
I really do. I'm not trying to have the cheapest place on the block.
It is.
I just I want it in good shape. I want people, you come to rest and get away, and that's what I want you to be able to do, rest and get away.
And you feel nice and comfortable.
Well, I appreciate that a lot. So are you going to Gimras?
Yeah, a few days.
Yeah.
And then I come back for sure.
Yeah.
Don't make my bed in, just leave it as it is.
Well, that's cool, man. So you gonna get to go ride around over there, man. I'm jealous. I might have to go catch up with you over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be fun.
That's a good island to go ride on.
Yeah.
There's hardly no traffic on those roads. The roads are all in really nice condition around the island. But it's not that big of an island, so it ain't gonna
So
take
you
like,
can get around half a day, or
oh yeah, that island's not that big. You can just take your time.
let's do the
leisure
trip.
around it. I can make it happen. Yeah, that'd be fun. Mel loves going over there. And it's a piece of cake. Getting on a ferry here to Gimras, just a few minutes. You're just over there in
we
a few
take
minutes.
it with Kate when she comes.
Cool. Shout out as well. I appreciate you coming here. I do. Let me get up here. I think you're a little taller than me, man.
A little.
I'm gonna have to put my high heels on. I appreciate you coming a lot. I've enjoyed this character right here, man. And y'all comment below. Tell us your thoughts. Give us our safety tips. Tell us how you need to be careful on those motorcycles. Like I said, at least you're gonna be smiling, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and everybody appreciate you watching the video here and catching up with a good subscriber right here. Thank you, man. And we'll see you on the next one.